AAA systems camera network. I will pull that up for you in just a moment here. Again, we're just making sure we've got you covered on air, working to get the coverage on our Facebook Live as well. So here is the very latest. Again, if you are just tuning in right now, we do have a tornado warning in effect for central Monroe County. That does include Tompkinsville, Freetown, also Harlan's Crossroad. The radar indicated tornado is nearby Harlan's Crossroad and Tompkinsville as we speak. Let me turn on our rotation product that we have on radar here, and this is very, very broad rotation. Unfortunately, this spot pretty far from most radar scans, and so this is a higher scan that we are getting on this storm here as it does continue to move off to the northeast here. And this storm, fairly close to Tompkinsville, it is moving to the northeast. So if you're in Tompkinsville, you'll certainly want to make sure that you seek shelter now. Need to be in that safe zone. Of course, interior location, lowest level of your home. And if you are maybe in not the safest location, like maybe a mobile home, and you do have time to maybe get to a neighbor's house, that could certainly be a good option for you. But you don't really have too much time if you're in Tompkinsville right now, so I'd really just kind of stay put where you are at. And we, again, are monitoring this tornado warned storm near Tompkinsville as we speak. You can see the greens and the reds pretty close to Tompkinsville, where they butt up against each other. That is where we do have the rotation being indicated by a radar here. So I'm just working to get us up on a Facebook here, and we should be, I think we should be good to go here. We've got our microphone, just checking off some things here. So all right, I'll hit go live. So we are now in just like a moment or two, we should be streaming on our WBKO First Alert page. But we are also on the live stream on our website. We are also, I'm hoping that we're also on our 24/7 weather live stream, giving you the latest on this tornado warned storm near Tompkinsville. If you're in Tompkinsville, be in your safe zone right now. The storm is moving to the northeast. It's moving past Gamaliel. It's also just nearby Freetown and Harlan's Crossroad. So we do have the stronger rotation being indicated by Tompkinsville here. Again, where we're looking for the colors here, we're looking for the greens next to the reds. Again, this is a higher scan in the atmosphere here, but it gives us an idea that we do have some significant rotation with this storm, and a lot of times that will translate down to the surface, and we could be looking at a possible tornado. So if you're in Tompkinsville, be in your safe zone right now. Stay there until that warning does expire. It does continue for another 12 minutes or so. So we're looking at some of that rotation around Tompkinsville as we speak. And I will I'll pop up our AAA systems camera here in just one moment. But we are, again, we are live on air. We do have a tornado warning that is in effect for Monroe County. It goes until 1:30 here. This is a radar indicated tornado, so nothing has been confirmed as being on the ground. But definitely enough rotation here. Storms literally just started popping up. This is the only warned storm that we are watching. And so let me go back to our radar before. I'm going to show you reflectivity here. And you can see we've also probably got some very, very strong winds with this storm as it is pushing through Tompkinsville right now. Just moments away from getting up our Tompkinsville cam here as the storm is literally pushing right on into the city. So here is a look. This is at Tompkinsville right now. I'll pop up on the green screen here for you. We are now live on Facebook Live. We're on Facebook Live. We're on our live stream, our WBKO live stream, and I also believe we're on our 24/7 weather page as well. So this is a storm moving on in. This is not the actual tornado itself. These clouds are just moving very, very fast. And unfortunately, we're going to be facing these kind of storms this afternoon. These fast-developing, fast-moving storms are all associated with the remnants of a barrel here. And tropical systems, they spin. And when these storms pop up, they spin as well. So this is near downtown Tompkinsville. This is the City Hall here, that building off to the left here, and we are watching a pretty ominous, this looks like a shelf cloud here. This is a pretty ominous shelf cloud moving on into Tompkinsville as we speak. So I'm going to leave it on that for a moment here, but yeah, you can see things are getting pretty nasty right now in Tompkinsville. If you're in Tompkinsville, seek shelter, be in your shelter, be in your safe zone. If you have kids, blankets, pillows, stuffed animals, whatever is going to help them out the best. Get into that bathtub, that interior closet, as many walls between you and the outside, and on the lowest level. If you got a basement, that's even better. But yeah, this is a pretty ominous looking shelf cloud. This is a shelf cloud. We're not looking at an actual tornado here. And again, the tornado is radar indicated, so we don't have any true confirmed reports of an actual tornado on the ground, but we do have the warning that is in effect and continues for the next 9 minutes here. So getting back to radar, you can see that, I mean, this is a very, very small warning. The heart of the rotation is getting pretty close to Tompkinsville as we speak. It's passed by Harlan's Crossroad. So if you're in Tompkinsville right now, you are really the primary spot in this warning, in addition to Grandview just to the north of Tompkinsville. So let's go back to our scene here, see what we can see. Again, what you're looking at here, this is a live shot from Tompkinsville. This is downtown Tompkinsville here with City Hall off on the side here. And so we're watching a large shelf cloud that's normally the leading edge of real heavy rain and gusty winds associated with a storm here. So this is what you are seeing here. Radar indicated tornado. And that's the reason why the National Weather Service has put out that warning. You can see that flag out there in the distance. It is flapping pretty good here. Now this camera is stationary, so I can't really move it, but we are watching that shelf cloud come on in. The rotation very close to Tompkinsville as we speak here. So a tornado warning continues for the next 8 minutes for central Monroe County. The risk for severe weather has expanded a little bit more, and it's all due to the fact that we're dealing with the remnants of a barrel. Tropical depression barrel continues to push on to our west, but we are definitely seeing some of the impacts from that storm system here. So let's jump back to radar here. This is our warning. It is very, very small. Here's Tompkins County, or excuse me, here is Monroe County. Tompkinsville is under that tornado warning right now, and it does continue basically for the next 7 minutes here. So the warning does include the city of Tompkinsville. And let me get an update on that warning here. Remains in effect until 1:30, so next 7 minutes. It is producing a tornado near Tompkinsville. So if you're in Tompkinsville, please be in your safe zone right now. You probably are hearing sirens going off. A train spotter did report seeing a wall cloud associated with this warned storm here. So let's go back to what we're looking at here. And again, this is a stationary cam. The shelf cloud itself is beginning to move over the city. So you're going to really see winds. You're going to really see this flag probably whipping around pretty good as we really get the leading edge of the real strong winds to start pushing on into the city. But right now the rotation is pretty much right over the town of Tompkinsville in Monroe County. So be in your safe zone. Again, many walls between you and the outside as possible. Pillows, blankets, whatever you need to protect you and your loved ones, that's the best way we're going to go about it today. Now, these storms that do develop this afternoon, everyone needs to have that safe zone to go to today, because we're not going to see maybe a ton of possible tornado warned storms. Well, when they pop up, they could go tornado warned pretty quickly here because there's a lot of wind shear in the atmosphere. So we're watching. If you're just tuning in right now, yeah, you can see that things are about ready to start shaking pretty good here as the real winds start to move on in. This is a live look outside in Tompkinsville on our AAA Systems camera. A tornado warning in effect for Tompkinsville and central Monroe County continues for the next 5 minutes. The heart of the storm is really pushing on into the city as we speak, and so you need to be sheltering in place right now. Don't try to venture away from where you're at to go to another location. At this point, you need to hunker down where you are. Tornado warning in effect for Tompkinsville as the strongest rotation is really right over the city. And there has been a report of a wall cloud, which is a lowering of a storm cloud, and that's due to rotation. And a lot of times from those wall clouds, you can get funnel clouds and even tornadoes. So that's what we're experiencing right now in Tompkinsville as we speak. Again, we are on Facebook Live as well. And this storm pretty much popped up. It popped up, and we were able to get on about 5 minutes after the warning went out. But if you had the WBKO First Alert Weather app, you should have been able to get that warning instantly once it did come out. So again, if you're just tuning in right now, wondering what are we looking at here, this is Tompkinsville in Monroe County, as we do have a tornado warning in effect. A lot of wind shear in the atmosphere, and so these storms are able to spin up tornadoes pretty quickly here. Radar indicated tornado, and right now we are sitting at 126, so that warning does continue for the next 4 minutes or so. You can see other storms popping up. Obviously, we'll keep an eye on everything for you, but this is the storm that we're really watching right now, the one over Tompkinsville and Grandview. If you're also in Grandview, make sure to stay in your safe zone. Forkton, stay in that safe location, as the strongest rotation is likely over you as we speak. So I'm gonna actually turn on our velocity product here so I can show you what we are looking at here. So we've got some very, very broad rotation. It's really just passed by Tompkinsville. It's not the most impressive, and at the same time, it's also, we're very far from some radar sites, so we don't get the best scan of the lowest levels of the atmosphere here. But this is a look at the tornado warned storm for central Monroe County, and this continues for the next 3 minutes. So we're going to go back to our camera out there in Tompkinsville, and you can certainly see the flag flapping around a bit. Kind of got jolted by some winds here, but the core of the storm maybe just missed this part of downtown. Well, there you go. Here comes the heavy rain. As I say, it looks like that maybe the core of the storm is missed, but it looks like it's really just skirting by, because you saw that quick downpour there, and then it just kind of stopped. So we're getting weather. We're getting a good live look at the current conditions out there in Tompkinsville in central Monroe County as we continue with that tornado warning for the next 2 minutes. The rain really coming down now. You can see, I mean, that's some very large raindrops. Not expecting much in terms of hail with these storms here, because we're dealing with a tropical system, or at least the remnants of a tropical system here. So the tornado warning is due to expire. Let's see if we do get any continuation. Okay, there has been a continuation, so we do have another tornado warning now in effect for northern parts of Monroe County. This includes Persimmon, and also includes portions of Cumberland and also southern Metcalfe County, just outside of the Edmonton area. We do have a tornado warning now in effect with this storm here. So let's get the latest information on what we're looking at here. And if you're just tuning in, we are covering weather live for you. We do have 2 tornado warnings in effect. One is about to expire in a minute here, but we have another that has now just been issued until 2:15 for northeastern Monroe County, northwestern Cumberland County, and southeastern Metcalfe County. Storm capable of producing a tornado located just outside of Tompkinsville here. Still radar indicated rotation here. Tornadic storm will remain over mainly rural areas of northeastern Monroe, northwestern Cumberland, and southeastern Metcalfe counties, including the following locations: Dubris, Waterville, Persimmon, Curtis, Rockbridge, Willow Shade, Grandview, and Grider. So we do have some locations in this warning as the storm continues to move off to the northeast. So this warning will continue basically for the next 45 minutes here. And this is the one storm we're watching right now. As we get a look elsewhere, you can see that we do have some storms kind of popcorning up over there into parts of Todd and southern Muhlenberg County. Nothing severe just yet. I mean, this one really kind of popped up out of nowhere almost, as folks will sometimes say, storms pop up out of nowhere. And we definitely have plenty of wind shear going on in our atmosphere here. And that is allowing those storms to kick up and start to rotate here. So we do have, again, a brand new tornado warning that is in effect. And this goes for the next 45 minutes here, and it does include a northern Monroe County, southeastern Metcalfe County, and western parts of Cumberland County. A lot of very rural areas out here, but if you live in the town of Persimmon or Waterview's in Cumberland County, you have a little time there to take shelter. Willow Shade, if you're in maybe a manufactured home and you have a location nearby, a better structure that you can possibly get to, and it doesn't take very long to drive there, that's probably a good location to go to. Curtis, also under that warning. So you have a little time here. The storm has, again, just been radar indicated here. And in addition to the fact that this storm is certainly capable of producing a tornado, we're also looking at the possibility of some very, very, very strong winds, also very heavy rainfall. It's a very broad rotation here. There was a report of a wall cloud associated with this. The rotation really just to the north now of Tompkinsville. So if you're over there in Persimmon, please make sure to take shelter and be in your safe zone. Let the storm pass on by. No true reports of any tornadoes, but this is a radar indicated tornado here. We will be on air for the next 45 minutes here. We're also streaming on Facebook Live. We're also on our WBKO live stream as well. Let me just check. I'm going to double check all of our feeds here just to make sure that we are showing up on all of them. Let's see our 24/7 weather channel here. Let's see. Okay, we are up on our 24/7 weather page. So if you go to our website, you can find our live streams in the top menu bar. There's an option for the 24/7 weather channel, and also an option for just our regular news live streams in general. We're also on Facebook Live here, so we've got you covered as we're continuing to monitor this tornado warned storm that has now passed by Tompkinsville. I'll give you another look outside in Tompkinsville right now. Let's go back to that live AAA systems camera out of central Monroe County. We are no longer, we're just on the fringe of the tornado warning Tompkinsville, but really the threats have passed. As a matter of fact, this is a look outside right now, and this is the kind of day it could be for some folks. We've already got those blue skies, and we did see some very, very heavy rain. It was a very brief downpour, at least in this part of a town here, but you can already see that the skies are clearing up a bit. So you're looking good here in Tompkinsville right now, as we do have the warning just to your north. We got the area of rotation that is a little bit to your north. We do have Davis Wells. He is in a studio here, and he's firing up his computer, so he will be able to provide us with some more information here. But if you are just tuning in right now, whether you're on one of our live streams or on Facebook Live, or you're just watching us over the air, We do have a tornado warning that is in effect. It's in effect for northern Monroe County, southeastern Metcalfe, and far western parts of Cumberland County. And we will stay on air. Our policy is if it's in our viewing area, we stay on air until the warning has been allowed to expire. This warning that we have in effect right now goes until 2:15 here. So a tornado warning that is in effect for areas mainly north of Tompkinsville. The rotation is now over there towards Persimmon. Maybe even a little bit. I mean, maybe can't totally rule out hail here, but it just doesn't seem like hail is very likely with these storms since they're loosely associated with a tropical system here. There's a lot of spinning motion in the atmosphere. So when these storms develop, they can start spinning. They don't have to even be fully developed to start spinning and possibly produce a tornado here. So this is a look at northern Monroe County. So just north of Tompkinsville, including the town of Persimmon. We do have that tornado warning in effect here. And also the potential for winds maybe in excess of 50, 60 miles per hour. If it's not true tornado wind, we could certainly have winds strong enough to take down trees, large branches, even knock out power. If you're over there in Willow Shade, you need to be in your safe zone. You still have a little time in water view, but make sure that you are at the best location in your home, or if you're at your business. Interior location, as many windows between you and the outside, and of course no windows. You want to be away from windows. That's the worst place you could be during a tornado, is near windows here. So this is the main storm that we're watching. Actually, just if you put radar into motion here, I mean, look at these storms. I mean, look how, yeah, they're kind of popping up all around us. And that storm was actually a little bit developed as it came out of Tennessee. And now you can kind of see that overall kind of spiraling motion in the atmosphere. I'll keep moving it out. The center associated with Beryl is further to our west here. But as the air kind of flows in towards that center, you get a lot of rotation in the atmosphere. So this is our main storm that we're watching right now. We've got this tornado warning in effect for northern Monroe County. Tompkinsville right now, the threat has basically subsided for you. Gamaliel, you're kind of sandwiched between two areas of locally heavy rainfall. Freetown, also Hardin's Crossroads. We've got some just regular rain showers. That's not associated with the potentially tornadic storm that is really located over Persimmon. And around 10:49, you can see some of these rural roads in here. 163 off of that roadway around Rockbridge. We'll go back to our rotation detector. Call this our velocity product. But it gives us an idea of where we could be facing some rotation. And again, it's going to look very broad because we're far from the radar sites here. So we're not getting the best scan of the storm, at least at the lower levels, but there's certainly some indication, especially since we have had a report that there was a wall cloud associated with this storm here. So let me get back into the warning here. See if the Weather Service has any updates on this. The severe or the tornado warning does continue until 2:15 here. Tompkinsville, you're in the clear from this storm here because the greatest rotation is a little bit further to your north over there towards Persimmon. That's where we do have some of the stronger rotation there. Let's see if we have any possible updates here. I'm not seeing anything. Not seeing anything just yet. Yeah, it looks like a wall cloud was reported on the storm with as it was moving on into Monroe County here. So that seems to be the main report associated with this tornado-warned storm, as it does continue now into northern parts of Monroe County over there near the town of Persimmon. So if you're in Persimmon, be in your safe zone right now. Also, if you are over there, let's find some other into Waterview. Also, be in your safe zone as well. So let's get back to reflectivity here. So a lot of times when you have these tornado-warned storms, you get kind of these weird-looking features on these storms. Sometimes you get a little bit of a hook here, not seeing a well-defined hook, but there's certainly some rotation in there, pretty close to Persimmon, as it's starting to now make the move into far western Cumberland County and southeastern Metcalfe County. So this tornado warning does continue for the next 35 minutes here. So again, if you're just hopping on board right now, we do have a tornado warning in effect. If you're in Tompkinsville, you're in the clear. This is for northern Monroe County. And this includes areas around Persimmon here, also Willowshade into southeastern parts of Metcalfe County, and also this county right here. This is western parts of Cumberland County, so over there near Waterview. The storm is moving at about 25 miles per hour, so it's moving at a pretty good pace here. We've got a decent core. I mean, there's probably some hail in there. There's probably a little bit of hail here, but obviously the main risk that we're looking at is the potential for a tornado and maybe wind speeds up to 50, 60 miles per hour in general. But these storms are spinning, and when you have tropical systems that move on shore and start to create these possible tornadoes, they're not exactly the same as typical supercell thunderstorms that you may get during the cooler time of the year, but they can certainly still be strong, and they can certainly still cause major problems for folks. And again, we have no reports of an actual tornado on the ground here, but there was a wall cloud spotted as the storm was approaching Tompkinsville. And when you have a wall cloud, that's a lowering of the storm base, and from that, a lot of times you can get an actual funnel cloud to develop here. Davis, can you turn on our hail product right now? Yeah, I just want to see, I mean, if all of that is maybe just some really intense rainfall, or if we are looking at some hail, because the kind of, maybe a little bit of hail in there as the storm passes by Persimmon and starts to make the move towards Waterview. It looks like the warning is continuing here. A lot of times when it flashes, that's a new update, and it's likely that we've still got this warning going for us for about the next 30 minutes or so. So what you're looking at here is the potential maybe for some hail as the storm is moving towards the northeast here, but really the bigger threat is in this red polygon here. That is the tornado warning that is in effect for western parts of Cumberland County, southeastern Metcalfe County, and northern Monroe County near Persimmon here. Okay, now we're starting to see maybe a little bit more of a hook feature here right around Persimmon. This monitor I'm looking at, I'm getting a little bit of a delay here, so hopefully I'm pointing the best I can. But right here, this is where we likely have a little bit more of that rotation, and we took off a few layers of radar. And so if you're over there towards Waterview, I mean, this storm will be very close to you here fairly shortly. Davis, can you put a track on that? 25 miles per hour? Yeah, you can see that rotation there, radar velocity indicating that rotation. Yeah, we got it generally in this area. So again, if you're over there near Waterview, or really anywhere, honestly, within this polygon here, we don't want to get like too specific. So the Leatherwood School at 145 here, so it's basically on your doorstep here. KC Fork School, breeding, we're talking about between 155 and about 215. and then Red Lick School. This is more of a rural area out here into the eastern part of the viewing area, but we still have folks that could definitely be impacted by this tornado warned storm as it does continue to move towards the northeast, roughly 25 miles per hour. So the rotation here that we're starting to see is into western parts of Cumberland County. So the storm is really now cleared out of Monroe County. So Monroe County, in terms of the tornado threats, it looks like you guys are in the clear here. The polygon does include southeastern parts of Metcalfe County. It's not quite up to Edmonton, but if you're in Edmonton, you still want to definitely keep an eye on this. The way it is tracking, it will likely pass further to your east here. But here's Burkesville. You're not under the warning. But again, the storm is almost like due west of you here, very close to the Casey Fork School. This is a fairly rural area out here, but we still have a tornado warning that is in effect for our viewing area here. And in addition to the fact that we've got maybe a tornado and very strong winds, we're also dealing with some pretty frequent lightning. So here are a few other locations you can see just past 2 o'clock here. So this gives us about another 17 minutes for the Jones Chapel School. Again, breeding around 2:09, Independence School at 2:14. Sparksville at about 2:18 here. So this is for this tornado warned storm. There's some areas that are a little bit outside of the polygon, but still you want to be keeping an eye if you're to the northeast of this warned storm here, as it has had the history of producing a wall cloud at least, which again is an indication that you may have the birth of a tornado from that. Wall clouds can typically drop funnel clouds, and if they touch the ground, then obviously that would indicate a tornado touchdown here. But as we look back at radar here, you can see this hook feature right here. This is where we're seeing some of that better rotation here as it continues to move towards the northeast here. So for areas that are just a little bit to the west of Burkesville, and we're talking about you in Waterview right now, hopefully you're in your safe zone. You're running out of time here because this storm right here, this is where we're getting some of the better rotation near the core of this storm here. Whenever you see kind of that notch here, that's just indicating the air kind of moving out and the air moving in. So right there, that's where you have a little bit more of that rotation, and that is heading over there towards the Waterview area. So you've probably got, I would say, about 5-10 minutes max here before that storm does move on in. The way it is moving, obviously these storms kind of wobble a little bit. But anywhere within this polygon here, you want to make sure that you are in your safe zone right now. And the warning does mention that a lot of this is fairly rural territory out here, but wherever you do have towns, you do have people living, and it doesn't matter if the population is 3, we are staying on air and making sure that you are covered and that you know what's going on and what we are tracking right now. So if you're just tuning in, if you just flipped on the TV and you're wondering what you're seeing here, this is a tornado warning. We talked about the tornado threat yesterday, that it would kind of evolve as the day wears on. This is a very isolated tornado warned storm. This is the only one we're tracking right now as it does continue close to Waterview. This is out there in western Cumberland County. But you can see that we may be dealing with a little bit of hail over there towards Willow Shade here as the core of the storm passes on by. The storms that we get won't be producing large hail. There's just not a ton of cold air in our atmosphere, but our hail indicator here certainly hinting on the fact that we still may have some hail in there. So even though thermodynamics and dynamics of the atmosphere say we shouldn't be dealing with much hail, I mean, this says otherwise. We could certainly, this may be a little overdone here, but maybe up to quarter-size hail as the storm passes by the community of Persimmon. So we're looking at the hail threat, and we're also looking at that tornado threat as well. So if we can, let's jump back to this look here, and this is obviously a little bit more telling for viewers, maybe makes a little bit more sense than sometimes our velocity product. But this is what, again, we're looking at this area right here. This is where we have a little hook feature here, and that's likely where we do have at least a rotating wall cloud in there, and that's where we could be dealing with maybe a funnel cloud or possibly even a tornado. So here, a water view, you're the closest to this storm, about 5-10 minutes away. Willow Shade, you're seeing some very heavy rain, probably some hail in there, maybe up to a nickel quarter size hail in there. So this area right here, the warning is where we're really keeping an eye on. That's the reason why we're kind of focused in on you in water view, is because we've got the rotation right here. And as the storm continues to move over, looks like Highway 90 right here and Highway 100, that's where we're going to have this rotation kind of pass on by. So water view, please be in your safe zone. Again, as many walls between you and the outside. If you have a basement, that's the best situation, or if you just have a closet or a bathroom, you can seek shelter there. And for the kids, again, the blankets, even the bike helmets. A lot of meteorologists nowadays preach about the bike helmet. That's a good thing to have as part of your tornado safety kit for whenever you do have to go into a shelter. So this is, again, far western Cumberland County as we are monitoring this storm. Davis, is there any update on this tornado warning?
I am taking a look now. The National Weather Service, it looks like they are going to at least continue the warning. They're waiting to hear some reports to see about potentially extending the tornado warning further, more downstream, but we do still have about 24 minutes left on this current warning. I'm going to turn on real quick local storm reports just to see if anything's popping up, but I'm not seeing too much, which that is typically a good sign that we're not getting too many reports, because likely people would communicate that rather quickly if there was something, and I'm not seeing much back behind yet. So yeah, this continues to be just the one storm that we're watching. I'll kind of reset this real quick just to show you for our region. It's just really this one storm right now that has that warning, and it's got all that lightning associated with it. And now there are a few other storms that are popping up just to the west of I-165, but those are currently below severe limits right now. We just continue to have this tornado warning down into portions of down towards Monroe, Cumberland, and Metcalfe counties.
Yeah, so again, the way these storms will evolve today, as we get kind of later in the afternoon towards the evening, that's when our tornado threat may actually go up a little bit more. We could be looking at a broken line of storms as we get into the evening hours. Right now, we're just getting some of those sporadic storms, but they all have kind of that look that meteorologists say. I mean, even these storms right here, the little ones, they've got that nubby look to it. But this one especially certainly has a better look to it. It looks almost like kind of a wormy look here, like as you're getting some more of that rotation here. Let me look into this other monitor here because I'm getting a weird delay. But you can see this storm continues off to the northeast here. It's had a pretty good northeasterly projection here. And so that's the reason why, if you are in the town of Waterville, I believe it's Waterville. Let's zoom back into the map here. I want to make sure I get the town right. Waterville into eastern, or Waterview, excuse me, into eastern or western parts of Cumberland County here. Waterview, you are under that tornado warning as we speak here, and that the storm is very, very close to you right now. You really don't have any extra time to get out of a location to go to another. So to seek shelter best you can where you're at, and let's ride this storm out here, because this is where, again, we likely have the best rotation here. And we could look back at the velocity product, but at this point it may not do us any good because it's being scanned so high into the atmosphere. So we're kind of looking at this as maybe a better indication that this right here, where you have your hook, when you learn about meteorology and you look at these kind of supercell thunderstorms, you look for the hook, and right where the hook is, That's where you have some more of that rotation here. So it's just outside the community of Debris here where we might be dealing with some areas of hail. But yeah, this hook is still looking fairly pronounced here. So Waterview, be in your shelter, stay there. Let's ride this thing out here. Again, no indications that we've had an actual tornado, a touchdown here. But there was a report of a wall cloud pretty close to Tompkinsville as the storm was moving through central Monroe County. But you can see north of the hook here, we've definitely got some very torrential rainfall and probably some hail in addition to those wind gusts, maybe 40, 50 miles per hour. But our eyes are on this area right now in fairly rural areas of western Cumberland County as this tornado warning does continue for the next 20 minutes here. We're going until 2:15. So the storms have decided to get off to a bit of an early start. But again, we're going to be watching some of the storms later on today as we get towards the evening hour. Some of those storms will have the possibility of spinning up enough to where we could have a tornado warning go into effect. This storm right now is fairly rogue. It's not really playing along with the forecast for us, but nonetheless, we do have a warning for the community of Waterview out there in western Cumberland County as the storm continues to maintain a pretty good presence here on a radar. And there's the Casey Fork School right here. And this area right here is where we're getting some of that better rotation overall. And this is starting to take more of a classic supercell look, as this is really the dominant storm that we are continuing to watch as it's mainly out over western Cumberland County here. And as it does continue off to the northeast here, about 25 miles per hour. Yeah, you can see there's not a whole lot of locations in here, but we do have Waterview. That's the next 3 minutes. So we're talking about basically right now for you. Dutch Creek Church, Sugar Grove School, a little bit past 2 o'clock here. And also places like Spark Chapel at 2:16 here, Amandaville at 2:23, and that's taking this storm in more of that northeasterly trajectory here. So this polygon obviously covers a larger area, and if you are just to the north of this rotation, this area of rotation right here, that is where obviously you're getting more of the core of the storm, and that's actually in the far southeastern parts of Metcalfe County here, but we keep getting more radar scans here. No additional warning just yet. It has not been expanded just yet, but we still have a decent look on this storm as it continues by the community of Waterview in western Cumberland County. So thank you, Davis, for continuing to put on our tracker here. But yeah, you can see other locations like Sugar Grove School Breeding just past 2 o'clock here, and Chance at 2:16. Cundiff at 2:23. So if you're just tuning in again, we're tracking a tornado warned storm. The warning does continue for a little bit more than 15 minutes here. It's in our viewing area. It's out there in the Cumberland and parts of Metcalfe County. And because of that, we're on air. We're staying on air until this warning has expired. We're also broadcasting on Facebook Live. Also, one of our 2 weather streams, actually, well, our news stream, we're broadcasting there, and then on our 24/7 weather stream as well. So we've got you covered in so many different ways. If you can't necessarily watch on TV, you've got our live stream options on our website and also Facebook Live here. So just 2 minutes before 2 o'clock here, we got a tornado warning in effect, and this storm is now, it's always interesting with these storms, and this is the reason why we do have larger polygons, is because sometimes you think it's starting to track one way, but now it may be kind of jolting just a little bit more to the north here as it is about ready to pass by the community of Waterview here. Still a pretty decent tornado signature here, that hook echo indicating where we do have some of that tight rotation with the storm here. Of course, where you see the purples, that's more the core. That's where you have the torrential rain and probably some hail in there, in addition to winds in excess of 40, 50 miles per hour. And you can get some wind damage in the core of the storm, so don't want to underplay that. But water view, you're just on the edge of the storm right now as it continues to move your way, maybe starting to jog a little bit more to the north. Now, some of these storms that we see today could have, their motions could be a little bit more erratic because, again, we're talking about a tropical system, or what was a tropical system that's spinning in the atmosphere. And so you're getting this rotating motion in the atmosphere. And so these storms are kind of, yeah, they're generally moving one way, but they could be shifting as they're working along the area of low pressure associated with the storm system. So here we go. Right here is where our rotation is. It's now kind of made a little jog just to the north of water view here. So if there's going to be a warning extended, it could be more so up this way into far northwestern parts of Cumberland County. But yeah, Davis circled it right here. That's where we're looking at some of that rotation. Again, that is just north of the community of water view here. But we still have no update on the warning just yet. We're at 2 o'clock right now. This warning that we have in place is due to expire at 2:15. After down there in Tompkinsville, and you still see that, you're under that tornado warning. The threat has passed. You guys are good. That's where the storm kind of originated, a little bit south towards Gamaliel, and we've been tracking that storm. It's now into far western parts of Cumberland County here as we're at the 2 o'clock hour right now. Got another 15 minutes on the warning, unless it does get canceled by the Weather Service, or there's the potential we could still get another warning here. So this is what we're watching now, just outside the community of Waterview. This is far western Cumberland County. This is really the storm that we're watching right now. Elsewhere, we do have some showers that are popping up. You might be dealing with some heavy rain right now, wondering what's going on with those storms. Those are just your regular showers and thunderstorms that we're dealing with, as Davis will show us here. You can see further to the west, out towards Hopkinsville, where it seems like it's been raining every single day for you guys, at least one storm. And you can see a few isolated storms in the northern Logan County here. We're watching a couple of them, but certainly nothing too widespread. We kind of thought the storms would evolve like this, but this one has been taking on a personality of its own, unfortunately, and that's the reason why we do have the tornado warning that is still in effect for parts of the area. And right now, just eyeballing it here, not necessarily paying attention to the true polygon, although if you are in far southeastern Metcalfe County, you still want to be in your safe zone. I mean, this storm is definitely taking a little bit more of a jog, like to the northeast here. So there may be some slight shift in motion here as the storm does continue. You can see there's Sparksville kind of on the corner of your screen here. If you've heard your name mentioned a few times, so yeah, you're close to the storm, but you're not actually in the warning just yet. And we're kind of getting all the way out here towards Jamestown and Lake Cumberland here. So this kind of gives you an idea of where we're at on the map if you're not completely familiar with this area. Burkesville, no tornado warning for you in Burkesville. We're just getting some super heavy rain right now. And also out there into, here's Clinton County. I know yesterday in my Facebook Live, I had a lot of folks asking about Clinton County. You've just got a little heavy shower just to the north of Albany, but there is no warning. This is the only warning that we have in effect. And for, here we go, here's a look outside in Burkesville as we speak. It's just some very heavy rain coming on down. We're getting a pretty good downpour for you, which for a lot of people, I think the rain might be good for you today, especially since we're going to go into a very dry period. We'll take the rain. We'll take the rain. We can leave everything else at the doorstep, but unfortunately, just the way that our atmosphere is going for today, there is that wind shear that could allow for some of these rotating storms, and this is what we're watching right now. Much of this warning Much of this warning is now in the clear here. You can see actually the rotation here is just on the edge of the polygon, as it's in far northwestern parts of Cumberland County. So it's a very rural area out here, but if you are a little bit northwest of Burkesville, that's where the rotation is, and that's where you certainly need to be in your safe zone as we speak. We're at 2:04. Warning is due to expire in about 11 minutes. Once it does expire, we're gonna send everyone back to regularly scheduled programming, and we'll also likely end our Facebook Live coverage as well. But we're gonna stay with you until these storms, or at least are no longer warned. Once the warnings are dropped, then we'll send you back to regularly scheduled programming. But of course, you want to stay with your WBKO First Alert Weather Team. We're tracking the potential for some more tornado warnings as we get into the evening. If you've been following Beryl since landfall yesterday around Houston, Texas, you've known that this storm has had the history of producing tornadoes, or a ton of tornado warnings for portions of the Deep South yesterday. We're not looking at that kind of a setup today, but our severe weather risk has gone up. There is part of the area that is under a more enhanced risk, which is a 3 out of 5 on the severe weather scale, and that's especially for areas further north, closer to the Ohio River. But of course, we're not close to the Ohio River here, and we do have a tornado warning in effect. So you all need to be severe weather aware this afternoon, and because we've got more bouts of storms coming. And there is the potential that a few of them could produce isolated tornadoes here. So if you're just getting into coverage, whether you're watching on one of our live streams here or you're on television, we still have a tornado warning in effect, but the rotation itself is almost now outside of the warning. Is there any update, Davis, on the warning?
Yes, a couple updates. It looks like they are getting ready to reissue actually another warning.
Okay.
They were contemplating just a severe thunderstorm warning with a tornado possible tag. They are seeing still a strong enough system producing some hail within that, and I think that's what we were seeing earlier. They are also talking about now a tornado watch that will likely be issued here very shortly. They are in the process of kind of drawing that up right now. But as of right now, this is the only storm throughout our region, rather, that has the potential for some severe weather. Now, I'd be curious to see, because the storm from Burkesville is kind of starting to merge with that. And there's the new warning right there.
Okay. Yep, there it is.
It's actually a much longer warning here. I'll get the latest here for you. So this is in effect until 2:45 p.m. They are continuing. A severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located 7 miles northwest of Burkesville, moving northeast at 25 miles an hour. Hazards are potential tornado and calling for ping pong ball size hail.
Okay, so there we got the hail report there, and this is for parts of Russell and Adair County, and also
Parts of Cumberland as well.
far northwestern Cumberland County. So we've got a new warning in effect. How long did you say that goes until?
Until
Davis?
2:45.
Until 2:45 here. So that's, a little bit more than 30 minutes here. And so now if you're in Russell Springs, you'll want to take cover. You got a little time here to take cover. Columbia, you're kind of on the edge of it, so you'll want to be in a safe zone. That goes for the community of Bryan as well. So what we're watching is a storm we've been kind of tracking since it started moving into the state from Tennessee here. These storms have been moving fairly fast, or fast and furious here. This is the one storm that's been producing enough for rotation. We've had spotted wall clouds associated with this storm here, which is an indication that you've got some pretty good rotation. You could at least have a funnel cloud come from that. So here's some of the locations that we're looking at here. Glens Fork until 2:32 here. So you still have a little time out that way. For Russell Springs here, 2:54. So we're giving you a little extra lead time here because the main center is down this way as it continues to start to pop into parts of Adair County here as it does make the way to the northeast. So even out there in Glen Forks, Ozark, you got some time. Get to that safe area. I know a lot of these spots out this way, especially being so close to the Cumberland River, Cumberland Lake. We got a lot of folks who are maybe doing some camping. Obviously, it's not nightfall, and we're not camping at night here, but a lot of folks engaging in recreational activities. So just make sure you have a good location to go to because the warning is in effect. You've got some time to get to a safe location. If maybe you're staying in a camper or you're just out in a mobile home or something like that, you do have a little bit of time to get to a safer place if you are in the warning. As you can see, this is a pretty expansive warning here. Not getting a good velocity signature here because this is a storm being scanned fairly high on radar here. And we're also starting to get some, like David said before, storms kind of merging. So this is when it gets a little bit more difficult to really get an idea of where some of the better rotation is, but we certainly have some hail. So even if we don't have a true tornado with this, we definitely have the potential for some larger hail. This storm is kind of eating up a little extra energy in the atmosphere, and when these storms do that, they tend to be a bit more intense. And you can see we do have a bit of a hail core. This is a hail core right here. This is what we're looking at. It's color coded here. So that pink indicating maybe some larger hail. And this is for areas just to the northwest of Bakerton and west of Amandaville here. This is a little northwest of Burkesville. And you can see the hail size. I mean, this is just an indication here. Yeah, we're talking about quarter size, maybe up to ping pong sized hail here. So getting some larger sized hail with this storm as it continues to make the move through northwestern parts of Cumberland County. Here is the Adair County, Cumberland County line. Kind of put things into perspective here. And this is what we're seeing. When you open up your radar app, this is kind of what you're seeing. You're seeing some pinks in there. And when you see pink on your radar app, and hopefully it's the WBKO First Alert Weather app that we are looking at, that's where you have some torrential rainfall and also the possibility for some hail. And that's actually another reminder, make sure you do download the WBKO First Alert Weather app. If you're watching us on television or you're not on your phone, you can actually scan the QR code right there in the corner of your screen. Of course, if you're on your phone, you can just go to your app store and search WBKO First Alert Weather. That way you can get that instant warning. The moment the warning comes out, it'll go right to your phone. And of course, we also have automatic alerts on our Facebook and Twitter pages. So you can follow us that way. I mean, this storm was kind of a rogue storm, how it flared up and started spinning around a bit. Now, again, we're looking at kind of a messier storm. It's a little bit difficult to track exactly where we have the best rotation in here, but anywhere in